West Nile Television, where we give you the highlights of the news bulletins of the week every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. My name is Okumiringa Christine. Let us dive into some of the stories that made headlines throughout the week. Many people gathered at Adjumani Mission Health Center 3 in Adjumani District to receive a brand new ambulance from Honorable Jessica Ariel Foundation on the 3rd of September 2023. The ambulance is timed to be the fulfillment of the promise made by the late Member of Parliament for Adjumani District 4, meant for the community. Onzima Alan has more.
Adjumani Mission Health Center 3 in Adjumani District has received a brand new ambulance from the Jessica Ariel Foundation worth 130 million. The ambulance turned out to be for the fulfillment of the promises made by the late woman Member of Parliament Jessica Ariel to the committee. Dr. Asisi Daniel, the son of the late Jessica Ariel, says through the foundation they were able to raise funds and express gratitude over the delivery.
Today, we are happy, very proud and excited to present the ambulance.
This shall never happen to you.
Jessica Ariel Foundation, which was started to uphold and
get behind me,
send forth the legacy that she left behind.
You are a hindrance.
The good deeds that she has.
For you are not on the side of God, but of
we
man.
have brought this ambulance representing our mission here in Adjumani District to serve as a purpose to uphold the health sector via the Adjumani Mission Health Center, to provide health services and emergency services to the people that need it.
Mawadi Moses, the director Radio Amani FM, who is the brother to the late, implores the administration of the health center to take up the responsibility of managing the ambulance.
Intention is to make sure that health, education, the environment, and several other areas of our society, are actually elevated. So Adjumani Mission Health Center 3 is going to handle the management of this ambulance. We're extremely delighted that it has been actually brought and presented. It was so amazing to see how excited the people of Adjumani are about this special gift. And this is because of a number of people who have actually made specific contributions to make this possible. So we thank God and we thank the supporters who have made this possible.
Musi Bredat Desire, a resident in Adjumani District, appreciates the persons behind Honorable Jessica Ariel for the donation to ensure effective service delivery.
Masinebwe and Ritru Banga Baikara Mani Darisi Ongoma Anogatrini Amendreni Honorable Ariel Okamani Abialenzira Anabarani Asisi from Darama Ogatri Amamutumutia Alamakanzo Rubani Taruduru Recolo Ruduru Kobamani Tazi Unzeriki Deramani Abialenzira Ruka Kusali Sama Ogatri Ayandrakarani Daru de Batata Tabebanza Bayo Tesiebe Abelenza Tarinisa Balitia Tere Darmitirama Ogatri Abelenza Maria Indrera Okay amani okay bayo teni ba lolu daru tandikaritini yote kai konya kami konyi kare aloga mitirama Ogatri manzora.
The Honorable Jessica Ariel Foundation is a non-governmental organization formed after the late Jessica Ariel with focus on health, education, environment, among others, to ensure quality service delivery. Peace Oshaki, Onzima Alan, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And more in our stories. Health workers in Arua City have embarked on an increased surveillance and community awareness following the increased reports of suspected trachoma outbreak in the area. This comes after 399 suspected cases of trachoma were reported by village health teams in the various cells in Arua City. According to Baguma Mahfuz, Arua City Vector Control Officer, who doubles as the focal person for the neglected tropical diseases in Arua City, revealed that following the cases that have been registered in some facilities in the city, they have built the capacity of the village health teams, who are in turn able to identify close to 400 suspects. Let's have more in that story.
The 399 in this, the leading suspected cases of trachoma came from Adumi, and those were 99 cases Meanwhile, this has been followed by Pajulu sub-county, which has 91 cases, suspected cases. We are calling them suspected cases because we trained VHTs to go and identify those suspected. Even if we have less than 10, it scares us because we are talking about trachoma leading to blindness. We don't want anybody in the city to lose their eyesight, to become blind. It compromises the city of human labor, and this economically affects the city when it comes to performance, working. So it scares us because we really don't want to see anybody in the city.
And more in our stories. Preparations are in high gear as a National Unity Platform fraternity await the visit of the party president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who is set to visit the region on the 13th of September 2023 and is set to speak to the region at Arua Public Primary School grounds in Arua City to conclude the first phase of his nationwide tour. The purpose of the National Unity Platform party President's visit to the region is to create grounds for the party to have early preparations ahead of the 2026 general elections. This Parish Majid has more.
The National Unity Platform party leaders in Arua City are in high gear preparations ahead of the visit of the party president, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, commonly known as Bobby Wine, to the region on the 13th of September this month as he concludes the first phase of his nationwide tour. Kyagulanyi started his nationwide tour to mobilize the masses in the post-election period as mandated by the Electoral Commission from the western city of Mbarara before heading to the other districts of the region so as to prepare for the next elections. He will be escorted by an entourage of party leaders and supporters from the various places across the nation, where he is also expected to address the region on one of the radio stations in Arua City and at Arua Primary School grounds. Asega Abib Jogo, the Northern Region Coordinator of the party, says the visit is to create grounds for the party to have early preparations ahead of the 2026 general elections.
What do we expect of this visit? Number one, the president's visit here, aware that after the election, the general election, he was not allowed to move to meet his people. But now that the Electoral Commission has given, has produced an electoral roadmap, it is an opportunity for him to move, one, to thank his voters. He was last year for general campaign, and he's going here, he has to come and thank physically his people, the votes he gave. You are aware that he won the election, so he has to come and thank his people. Two, it is a wake-up call for our members, our supporters, not only members of National Platform, but a wake-up call for change-seeking people, even those in NRM. There are those in NRM who are seeing things not moving right. They need change to happen. So it's a wake-up call for all of us. So why wake-up call, and for what reason? That wake-up call is going to ease the work of these comrades of ours of mobilization, registering people into party, that will lead to finalization of structure building in the country. Preparation for the general election. So at this juncture, this is what we think the expectation we have. Our expectation of this visit is an opportunity for the principal to prepare, an opportunity for the party to prepare as early as possible. Aware that last election, there was no time for preparation. As people were thinking, remember we had a lot of issues, court issues. As you think of preparing, there's court issues. As you think of preparing, there's this issue. So we are preparing. Expectation we are having is that today this visit is going to give us a way through to the last day of election. That when we start preparing now, By the time of election, we shall be very, very ready, and we shall protect our votes, we shall protect our result, and we shall have a new Uganda that works for all. I thank you. Maybe members have got something to add.
Ali Raj Atendele, the chairperson NUP Arua City, says there is a lot they will discuss with the party president.
About how we are prepared to receive the principal. You know, when the party started, it started abruptly, and there are no committees, like you give a birth to a baby, and the baby, you know how a baby grows, and protecting the baby is not an easy thing. The time has passed now. Now we have started organizing ourselves. We want the party to stand very strong, and what we are coming to ask him is still there. We'll ask him some questions, because when he came here and he left up dead, he hasn't come back. And I cannot give you the answer right now, as for now, because we are going to sit down in the committees to organize what we are going to tell the principal. It's not me alone, we are going to sit together in the committees. Thank you.
Allen Dan Isaac, Chairman NUP Arua Central Division, welcomes all the party members to the identified venue.
Allen Dan Isaac, Chairman NUP Arua Central. Mostly I would like to welcome all our supporters on 13th to welcome His Excellency President Kyagulanyi, People's President, for the new Uganda on 13th. All are welcome to Arua Primary School grounds. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Letty Offers, one of the organizers preparing to receive Robert Kyagulanyi, gave a stern warning to those who intend to disorganize the function.
We want to warn those who are in other parties who have bad hearts, so that they want to come and cause problems for us. We shall be the first people to arrest you and hand over you to police, and your issue will be solved later. We want the pressmen to come around, and they should have peace. We don't want to where pressmen are beaten in other parts of the country. Intimidation, no. We shall let police always liaise with us. We shall have our numbers with the police. Any problem, they should ask us, the organizers, and we want to prove to the world that we are peaceful people. Like yesterday, Bobi Wine was in Mayuga, and he had a press conference in Kampala. It is there on social media, warning people of hooliganism, snatching somebody's phone, snatching somebody's property. So we welcome everyone on Wednesday early morning. Thank you. We shall let you know the programs that will.
Police on Monday passed a warning to the National Unity Platform Party president for defying the agreed upon rules and regulations, where police says the team has been operating outside the framework. Farish Majid, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
The President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has asked the people in the Acholi sub-region to forgive him and the National Resistance Movement government for the mistake and failure they have done to the Acholi sub-region in the last 30 years. President Museveni was addressing thousands of Christians who congregated at Kahunda Ground in Gulu City. Stephen Okello has more.
While speaking to born-again Christians who have congregated at Kahunda Ground in Gulu City, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni asked the Acholi people to forgive him together with the NRM government for all the mistake and failure they have erred during the war between the Lord Resistance Army and Uganda government in Acholi sub-region.
As the top leaders of the movement, we are here to take full responsibility of all the mistakes which were made at various levels. Forgive our failures and the failures and the mistakes made by leaders we entrusted with the various responsibilities to work this sub-region. Forgive us, we pray. We are here to acknowledge those mistakes as our own, but also the weakness and the stubbornness of the people themselves, who either deliberately or unknowingly failed or neglected to embrace government programs.
Museveni, who was asking God to intervene and facilitate the general reconciliation between Uganda government, Acholi people, and Ugandan at large.
May there be genuine reconciliation between us and these your people, command us into their hearts again. Lord, complete the process of forgiveness, healing, and restoration that you yourself started, both in the hearts of your people and in the whole land. Lord, expedite that healing process and total restoration of your people in this sub-region.
The president message come days after Pentecostal church bishops, general overseer of Pentecostal churches in Uganda, security officers and political leaders who have congregated during Light Up Acholi Land Gospel missions cried out for God's forgiveness to one another.
Forgive us. The people might forgive us. We repent. May we find peace and rest. We are still find peace and rest. From this day forth, we thank you.
You can marry in Uganda. You can marry our children. We can enjoy life together and become like United States of America. United States of America became a nation out of different factions. So we declare Uganda a united nation in the name of the Lord.
All these great men of God was praying for God interventions to come and reconcile all the tribes and regions in Uganda.
Here, the people of Great Acholi land. First of all, forgive us. I am Mnyankole. And it so happens that the president in office is a Mnyankole. Forgive us for what has happened in the 40 years close. What has happened under the hands of our president, where his people have misrepresented him, where starting with stealing the money.
As this great man of God was praying for God interventions to come and reconcile all the tribes and regions in Uganda, many went on tears as they remember their past.
Lord God Father, we pray and repent for Acholi people. Forgive us on behalf of my generals, on behalf of the commanding chief, on behalf of all the generals of UPDF and the leaders in the police force. Forgive us, my Redeemer. Forgive us whenever we went wrong. We are here fighting for peace. For all these years, Lord God Father, but time came, you ended the war. You ended the war. So many people were killed. Innocent people were killed. Children were raped. Many people were abducted. Young people were abducted. Lord God Father.
Pastor Patient, who is also the daughter of President Museveni, called men of God from Acholi and the rest of Uganda to come and spiritually unite Ugandans.
Just like the spirit that was behind Hitler that caused so much death and destruction, as long as the church did not lock that door, the spirit of death reigned. Because from the 1960s all the way even until the 1980s, the nation was locked in this struggle, in this battle.
President Yoweri Museveni joined his daughter during a 4-day gospel mission in Gulu City, which was organized by the Covenant Nation Church under her leadership, to pray for peace and unity in the land. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television, NILECAST.
And more in our stories, Aurora City stakeholders are blaming parents for their poor parenting that has led to the trending criminality cases of street children, as the boy child is regrettably identified as the biggest culprit. Frederick Jamadri has more.
Stakeholders blame parents for the trending cases of children coming on the streets with the associated activities in Aurora City attributed to poor parenting. On the streets of Aurora town, cases of street children engaging in criminal activities continues to ravage as the boy child is regrettably identified as the biggest culprit. As of 5th July 2023, Aurora Regional Remand Home registered a total of 101 children remanded under various offences, with Aurora District and Aurora City cumulatively recording 48 cases, followed by Yumbe District with 13 cases, Koboko with 11, while the list of the districts in the region include Moyo and Madiokolo, that registered 1 case each. On the other hand, no girl was remanded, but the major crimes noted to have been committed by these children include theft, defilement, aggravated robbery, rape, among others. Emily Bako, an assistant probation and welfare officer at Asituaru Regional Remand Home, explains that many children, especially the boys, have come in conflict with the law, and lack of empowerment for the boy child worsens the situation.
Because many times there are people who think that these are problem children. Some, they are not wanted. So when these children are here with us, we know that these children have potential. Like if we can start skilling them right now, they can become better citizens. Like we have leaders here, we have doctors here. So it is us to join hands to make sure that we skill up these children. Ivan Shukuru, the LC1 chairperson of Upper BBS cell, noted with concern that the criminalities among children is currently overwhelming.
The rate of criminality caused by children in the town, in fact, it is going very high. You go to Lobeda Market, it is high. That is the highest area of criminality. Because, I mean, you know, only for children. They can come and even they can pick these cameras of where they go. This is where the problem, the issue is.
The escalating crimes committed by children has prompted the Arua Central Division to enact a bylaw dubbed the Child Abuse and Exploitation Act 2023 to tackle the various issues of parental responsibility and the welfare of the children, with the support from FIDA Uganda. Fred Ababo, the lawyer and the consultant who presented the contents of the law, reveals that once the bylaw is just blessed by Arua City Council, it will help to curtail cases of street children roaming in the city center.
So now, there is legally you cannot charge these children. So the best you can only do is to charge their parent, you get it, or their guardian. Now, how do you reach their guardian? You reach them through Section 7, which gives them powers to look after their children. So, meaning if they are to look after their children and they're releasing these children to go and they do these businesses that exposes them to exploitation, now you need to punish them. You get that point. By punishing them, you are now putting them responsibility to take these children back home.
The major areas donned with criminalities in Arua City have been identified as P7, Gaga Club, Hawker Lane, among others. Frederick Tamadri, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And more in our stories. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyuchin Grace Freedom, on the 5th of September commissioned the Mwetu Aya and Amua Abesu road links in Mwetu Sub-County, Moyo District, in an event that brought in several dignitaries from across the country and beyond to witness and share with the community members of Mwetu and Moyo District at large. Okumu Dominic has more.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyuchin Grace Freedom, yesterday commissioned the Metu Aya and Amua Abesu road links in Metu Sub-County, Moyo District.
Commission Metu Aya road for the benefit of the people of Moyo District, for God and my country.
The commissioning exercise brought in several dignitaries across the country and beyond to witness and share with the community members of Metu and Moyo District at large. Mr. Vuchiri Geoffrey, the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Moyo, lauded United Nations Capital Development Fund for the NAMA's contribution to Moyo District local government.
We also got support in improving our local revenue in terms of IRAS, that is the Integrated Revenue Management System, which made us to raise 90% of our local revenue for the last 2 years when we were introduced. We used to only absorb 30% of our local revenue when we were collecting. This is because there was no system which helped us in registration, identification, and also collection. Now this time, business people deposit money direct to their account, and we thank UNSDF very much for that component, and we thank also the Ministry of Local Government for supporting in that area.
Honorable Anyama Williams, the Chairman Local Council 5 Moyo, pledged the district support in maintaining the road so as to improve the lives of the people in the district.
As a district,
We want to pledge our total commitment to ensure routine maintenance and improvement of the roads that have been rehabilitated. It is our responsibility as a district. We have a functional roads committee. We have technical staff in the works department with the roads equipment for mechanized maintenance. Annually, we recruit road gangs who conduct regular manual road maintenance. Therefore, I assure all of you, we shall take full responsibility for sustainability and maintenance of these roads.
Honorable Thomas, the area member of parliament for West Moyo, said the opening of the road links brings services closer to the community members, which used to be a problem in the past due to the bad status of the roads.
The road was unmotorable, as I said before. Now with the intervention of implementing partners and DU, we can now have marketing, we can have health services, education, agricultural development in areas like cattle rearing, goat rearing, poultry farming. The traffic flow has now increased. People have established shops and kiosks along the roads, and as said before, there has now reduced maternal infant mortality rate. It has provided temporary employment opportunity for the youth who are out of school as casual site workers. It has led to poverty eradication and improved livelihoods.
Mr. Dimitri Pozidev, the United Nations Capital Development Fund Global Advisor for Local Government Finance Head of Country Office in Uganda, pledged their commitment in developing Moyo District and the country as a whole.
So as we celebrate the success of this program today, we also celebrate your success. We also celebrate your contributions to this program, and without those contributions, without your commitment, it couldn't have been implemented. A big thank you once again to all of you. As the UN Capital Development Fund, together with our partners from the European Union, from the government, from other parts of the UN system, we remain committed to facilitating the development of Uganda and facilitating the future development of Moyo.
Honorable Kyochwing Grace Freedom, the State Minister for Northern Uganda, who doubled as the chief guest, implored the people of Moyo to take proper care of the road links for the development of the district.
Challenges during the construction of this road. But also this is now over. We have to see, we have to look at new opportunities. We are an agricultural economy, so let this road not just be a decoration. So Moyo District, nobody should play with this road. We have to own it, we have to maintain it, we have to really cherish the future of Moyo District because of this road.
The Meto Aya and Amua Beso road links, which measures approximately 4 kilometers, link the people of Meto and Oche sub-counties and the neighboring South Sudan, have previously been impassable due to the bad terrain of the area, which is mountainous, hence cutting off the people of Aya and Abeso from getting access to social services in the district. It took the intervention of the government of Uganda through the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda program DINO to rehabilitate the road with funding from the European Union through the United Nations Capital Development Fund. I'm Dominic Antonio Kumu for West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And more in our stories. Border riders and pedestrians using Pangisi Nebi Road have accused the leaders of both Nebi District and Zombo District for abandoning the bridge which connects the two districts after floods washed away the bridge in 2021. Alfred Jawoko has more.
Border riders and other pedestrians using Pagisi Nebi Road have accused leaders of both Nebi and Zombo District for abandoning the bridge which connects the two districts after floods washed away the bridge in 2021. During a survey conducted by this reporter on Tuesday morning at the bridge, Francis Oketwengu, a border rider from Paidam, said the bridge has become a death trap for both riders and pedestrians. He blames the leadership of both Nebi and Zombo district for not taking actions to reconstruct the bridge since 2022. According to Ketwengu, last week, one person survived death when he rammed into the bridge unknowingly.
Matiu kungudu eni sawa sheke, but chakre mangudu eni ma bridge eno tor kode. Idui mira parashel ni oro mukado. Kawinya oro do kauna rio. Inyang pe ni ajorotela mua gibe parango e kom bridge ma enu chakre metor. Ngati moko machopo dieng de pe ko me. Dong ele matek yua. Inwango eni tiek dio ma community wetiu kude. Dong ebedu ni le matek nango mako jorotela onen le meni matek magwe ni loyo lembe moko shi. Ikome be konyo danda. Aya edwo gulembe dok shiek nango ni dano mapol mabedo kadi wi got eno gide. Edwo ko lembe dok giyot. Dong wakwayo ni agamende okenen gitemo lembe moko kokoro. Machobo konyo wai kom bridge ma eno.
Meanwhile, Faith Atimango, a resident of Namthin, where the bridge is located, says after the bridge was destroyed by heavy floods, the leadership of both districts have paid deaf ears to their cry. Atimango further revealed that some of our village members used a temporary wood to help people cross the bridge.
Gibe siku nuwango accident gibinu kinyango ngoni yanyo bridge to ripapa ngati podu nango jishika luongo jirani ubinu konyo ngati nuwango accident kabini ngati binu kupiti tikadi wegite ripapa ngati podu longo dongo government joro tela dongo wiunika kani ka wunda ku ora shiel tinyo kumutimire depe ubinu neno wi bridge nena shi uloko dok neno wi bridge nena shi uloko dok cheng jome zombu wecha tira ni ango Gibi yobu a bridge du mira bero kado mon du mira bungwen jorotela e wi unika kani wabe metu bridge nwajo tadi pini kometi bridge nwami community mawati yuko de.
In response, Nebi District Chairperson Emmanuel Urombi apologized for the delay to reconstruct the bridge, noting that the other part, which was washed away by floods, was for Zombo District to construct runways for water, but nothing was done. He added that they allocated over 270 million shillings for the construction of the bridge, as the work will commence in early October this year.
I want to begin by apologizing to our people that we have not given exhaustive information, especially detailed information about the breakdown of the bridge. And this all started when we had, the money we had was 97.5 million, but we felt we should put something that will connect us with the Paida or Zombo district. And we took this risk and the initiative. We have done this under NUSAF and connecting the municipality with the Zombo district. But the challenge came in when we worked on this part very well. We did stone pitching on the side of Nebi. Then we agreed with the Zombo that they will handle the remaining the other remaining side. But also we did stone pitching, but there should have been some hardcore put in the place, and they assured us that they had enough hardcore on the other side. They'll mobilize community to put. Then we also handle it. But when rain came heavily and then swept off, and then caused a very big gully on the other side of Zombo, because they took long to do that or to implement that. But the assurance, or the greatest hope I have right now, we sat together with the chairman Zombo, my friend and colleague James Oruna Oyulu. We sat with him and we said, how do we fix this now? And by good luck, we went and lobbied a project called Local, and Local will be serving only 4 districts in the entire country. That is Zombo, Nebi, Nwoya, and Kasese. And they are looking at disaster-prone districts and also the challenges the district are going in relation to Namthin Bridge. So for now, as we talk, we discussed with him, and when the money came, so Zombo side has put already 218 million in order to fix that, and we'll also work on the road up to that side of Pagisi. So they are going to work on the entire trench. But on this side of Nebi Central, Nebi Municipality and Nebi District, the road is okay and is in good shape. So what was causing problem on traffic is only the other side of Zombo, which we have already fixed. And I want to give them assurance that this will not take long. Latest by October, the implementation will have begun.
For decades, Namthin Bridge has been helping pedestrians and motorists to cross Zombo district. But with the current nature of the bridge, many motorists prefer Paida Goli to Nebi district. Alfred Jawak, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And more in our stories. The Acholi parliamentary group threatened to storm out of parliament if the government failed to come out with its clear position on the current situation on the contested upper land. This comes after the fresh attack by suspected groups of youth armed with bow and arrow attacked the area, leaving 4 dead, 8 critically injured and 6 missing, according to a statement presented to the press by the chairman of the Acholi parliamentary group. Stephen Okello from Gulu has more.
Expressing bitterly while addressing press at Tax Art Center in Gulu City, the Acholi parliamentary group anonymously expressed that they will move out of parliament if government did not come out and bring to book those who are continuously attacking the Acholi community living in the contested upper land.
We as members of parliament in Acholi sub-region will walk out of parliament of Uganda in 2 weeks' time if no security of our people is taken seriously by the government, and we will come with our people of Apa, Agago, and Kitgum and Lamore, where our people of these areas are being attacked every day, and we are losing the lives of our people under the watch of our own government.
Betty Aol Ochan, woman member of parliament for Gulu City, questioned why the authority in Adjumani was allegedly hesitating to deliver the 4 bodies which was in their custody, instead of bringing to book those who killed them.
Why should they be killing our people all the time? Right from 2012 to date, the people of our part have not rested. Some of us feel that if only all of us could get guns, we would go with guns and fight, because enough is enough.
While showing to the media personnel some of the images taken from the scene in Apa, the woman member of parliament for Gulu district, Sharon Balmoy, expressed her dismay to the government for failing to protect the people of Apa.
I think enough is enough. We need to take a step. I would suggest, as a Acholi parliamentary group, let us boycott parliament. Let's move out of parliament. If the government cannot address these issues of our people being murdered like chicken, let's boycott parliament until our cry has been heard.
Others says, with all the security personnel in Uganda, government should ensure maximum protection of the people in Apa and restore peace and security in the place.
We have the army, we have the police. How do 100 people come in the middle of a forest preparing to go and attack a village, and the security agencies are formed and they don't take action? Is that not deliberate? Who is mobilizing them? If the Judicial Commission of Inquiry has been established, why is it still continuing? We want to hear a statement issued by the Commission.
The Beta Member of Parliament also demand to hear from their counterpart in West Nile Parliamentary Group.
And we also demand for a statement from Adjumani district. We demand to meet, and also we want a statement from West Nile Parliamentary Group immediately on what has happened when the leaders are there in West Nile. The district leadership are there, the members of parliaments are there. What exactly traditional leaders are there? What exactly is happening?
Members of Acholi parliamentary group are also asking government to give 10 million shilling as compensation to the aggrieved family and take over the hospital bills of those who are nursing home in the hospital, among other demands. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television, NILECAST.
And more in our stories, the beneficiaries of the certificates of customary land ownership in northern Uganda are overjoyed over the sale of land and using the land to obtain loans from land lenders under the unproductive circumstances. This comes at a time the leaders from the various ministries of northern Uganda, lands, housing and urban development, local government, and as well as finance handed over 1,400 certificates of customary land ownership and commissioned 6 recorders in the 3 districts of Maracha, Agago, and Apach under the pilot project of the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda, of which 1,293 women benefited. Frederick Jamadri has more.
At least 1,400 individuals in northern Uganda have secured their land titles on customary land tenure under the pilot land component of the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda, DINU, with support from United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, and the European Union. During the official commissioning of the pilot interventions by the various dignitaries, many praised the first phase of this program, noting that this has improved Uganda's infrastructure development through the construction of 6 sub-county land offices, termed to be recorders, at a cost of 75 million Ugandan shillings each, in the 3 pilot districts of Maracha, Apach, and Agago to enable the documentation and storage of customary land records and take land services closer to the landowners. The newly registered customary landowners paid at least 10,000 shillings for the acquisition of the land documents. In a brief statement from the Ministry of Lands presented by the Public Relations Officer Dennis Obo, out of the investments during the pilot study between the years of 2017 and 2022, already the government has registered significant increase in revenue up to 14 million Ugandan shillings from the 1,400 certificates of customary land ownerships issued.
Those who have seen the files have seen that the 10,000 has been paid and the receipts are on file as evidence. We shall introduce administrative measures of mapping customary land using techniques as those that are used for surveying and mapping, so that in terms of accuracy, if you ever want to convert your CCOs to freeholds, you do not have to go back and carry out the surveying. We know how expensive survey is.
According to Nabwaka Eunice, the principal land officer in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the certificate of customary land ownership has unique features that cannot be tampered with by any person and encourage the landlords to keep them safe.
It is a legally recognized document. It is stemming from the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and it has any equal legal force just like any other certificates of title. So do not fear or do not put a title on top of this title. So this is for the land management institutions, the area land committee, where a certificate of customary ownership has been issued.
Meanwhile, Caroline Anderson, the European Union head of cooperation in Uganda, reveals that 80% of the land in Uganda, especially in the rural settings, is untitled, giving room for looming internal conflicts among family members, adding that this has triggered the organization to join the fight for land security in Uganda.
I'm happy to see that we have been working on customary ownership, as it has been explained by the speakers before me. Land ownership is a source of conflict, so when we manage to look into it and title, it is helping to reduce the number of land conflicts, and it is facilitating also the use of land titles as security in the bank to access credits and to increase production. I think this effort is a joint effort. It is the result of a partnership between the development partners and the government of Uganda. It's also the result of a partnership between central government and local leadership.
Marsa District members of parliament who were present joined other leaders in appreciating the government for the intervention and rally community members, particularly those who have benefited from this project, to use the land productively.
When I heard that 1,294 women benefited from this, I'm so grateful. In the past, women were never considered. And the land belongs to the men. We only cultivate on it, and sometimes we are tossed left and right.
There's also a lot of government land in our district that has not been titled. Lack of titling of our land.
And these days, government cannot take any development project anywhere unless you have title. That's why I've been pushing the people of Nyadriaban to make sure the town council to produce title.
Obiga Kania, the State Minister for Urban Development, who is also the Member of Parliament for Terego East constituency, who commissioned the recorder and the official handed over the land files to the landlords in Marsa District, particularly in Kijomoroshawu County, explained that government has a target of securing titles for at least 170,000 people in northern Uganda in the next 2 years, but warned communities over sale of land.
The NRM government under the current manifesto plays to process and give landowners legal documentation to items of land titles. That is the basis for processing customary land titles for families in West Nile and the greater northern Uganda. More customary titles are to be processed by the ministry with support from the European Union, targeting the registration of 175,000 families and the indigenous communities and vulnerable communities within the next 2 years.
According to Global Land Tool Network, Uganda's rural population have the right to their rural land through customary tenure arrangements, representing 75 to 80% of the land holdings. However, only 15 to 20% of the land is officially registered. Frederick Ramadri, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And more in our stories, over 100 farmers from Terego District have benefited from a training on the restoration of the degrading ecosystems in Terego District. This project that targets 8 villages in Terego District is implemented by Nature Uganda with a view of creating an environment that is sustainable for all. Farish Majid has more.
In a bid to conserve and restore the highly degraded ecosystem of the forests, wetlands and woodlands that have been contributing to the rampant changes in climate, farmers in 2 sub-counties of Omugo and Odupi in Terego District have been trained on sustainable land management practices, agroforestry with the aim of restoring the fragile ecosystem within the areas. The project, implemented by Nature Uganda, a non-government organization in partnership with Uganda Biodiversity Fund, Ecological Christian Society Organization and other partners, with funding from the European Union, is aimed at restoring and conserving the fragile ecosystem within the 5 refugee hosting districts of Yumbe, Kamoenje, Chegegwa, Chikube and Terego District, which host a large number of refugees. Anke Barahukwa, the project manager, Nature Uganda, called for cooperation from the members of the public, as she says the projects are directly meant to benefit them.
We urge the communities to continue working hand in hand with us, because these activities of sustainable land management, agroforestry are to their benefit, because if we are giving out tree species such as fruit tree species such as mangoes, oranges, these in turn will bring back money into their pockets in the future. And if we improve the livelihoods of the communities, we also decrease on their dependence on fragile ecosystems that we are fighting to restore.
After the training, the community members from the 4 villages of Changu, Elepi, Nadua, and Luku, which have been trained, expressed their appreciation towards the project.
Yes, my name is Angotokoto from Elepi village. Today we have learned a very good lesson from ecosystem, which has brought us very good change. Now, as I look around, what we have got right from theory up to the practical part, it will make us to change our life, even the life of other people. Because after here, we are going to begin practicing how the trees will be planted. Out of what we learned, the trees, especially for us who are closer to the river, will help our land being washed away by the water. Again, the animals who also live in water where there are trees will also be in place.
Amani program no jizorse ile angire amapi amave abule kotidiki angasra emina muzamane batari toborse akudesa seble kotiki angasra manda bule kotidiki a osubirungoni sadsi yonzu do mana farikite yi ali diki do sadsi yo aya kotiki angrangira butisdiki nden la ki do sadsi yo yi ide dokite ama ay kosimini afarikati zo manirsi ama apply kosimina mani kotike diki orikati zorsi ama ma farike sabani sende kusuzo dusidusu dike de lesa de safarike baka ni sende kuso angirito or the femini emina mana farikati zorsi.
Mr. Antonio Gaspar had been for training for the nature of Uganda today in Ningori. It has been very interesting. They have taught us the way how lines are made for seedlings. They also trained us how to plant the seedlings. They also taught us the benefits of plants in the environment and many others which I cannot talk about all.
Meanwhile, Table Magnon, a forest ranger at Terego district, implored the trained farmers to spread the gospel of agroforestry to the neighboring communities and also to practice what they have learned, since it can be done on any size of land.
And these people who have been trained, let them not be themselves that I've learned this, it is for myself. No. When your nearby community is suffering because of hunger, eventually their children will come and steal. When the trees, when the community, when your neighbor children is vying to eat fruits, when you're the only person having those fruits, what will happen? You'll be spending much of your time in doing protection and trying to make sure that your fruits are not eaten up by the children, which is very, very wrong. Disseminate this information to the next. The opportunities are there. I think within this year, next year, there will also be another group which will be targeted by Nature Uganda before they go. I think to the communities outside there, let's take tree planting and tree planting as a necessity, because
under this initiative, farmers from 10 villages from the areas identified will receive over 110,000 seedlings, as 570 hectares of land has already been identified around the areas of Yellow Wetland, River Enyao and the surrounding areas. Farish Majid, West Nile TV NILECAST.
And more in our stories. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyochin Grace Freedom, on the 7th of September 2023, commissioned the Adibo Pipe Water Scheme and Kuruv Market in Yumbe District in an exercise that brought in hundreds of people from across the district and beyond to grace the occasion. Okumu Dominic has more.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyochin Grace Freedom, yesterday commissioned the Adibo Piped Water Scheme and Kuru Market in Yumbe District. The commissioning exercise brought in hundreds of people from within Yumbe and beyond to grace the occasion. The minister, who was the chief guest, first commissioned the Adibo Piped Water Scheme in Rajini Sub-County, which has connected over 300 households, before commissioning Kuru Market, which also accommodates over 300 businessmen. The construction of both Kuru Market and Adibo Piped Water Scheme drained close to 2 billion shillings through the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda Project DINO. However, the commissioning and the celebration of the exercise was short-lived due to heavy downpour that disrupted the event, giving no chance for the dignitaries to give their remarks to the hundreds of the locals who came to witness the occasion.
We have seen two projects. We have seen the pipe water scheme, and we are now
seeing the market. This market is more than 500 million shillings. The water scheme is 1.9 billion shillings. This is great investment with the support of EU, implemented by UNCDF, and of course the government's intervention that has come to Yumbe district. So as we are here in the market, we can see that the sanitation, the cleanliness is good, and this is how a market should be, and this is how the women should organize themselves in order for us also to buy good food. And so we have seen that what has been done is not enough for the population. It's just 130 tenants here, yet this place can accommodate 500 people. So it is a task for us, the local government and our partners, to see how we can improve this place better. For the water project also, about 130 households have been connected, and yet there is still more demand for clean and safe water. It's a call on us, government, to provide services to the people. So we report back to this government to see what else can be done, because this particular program is coming to an end. The funding is coming to an end. So what next should we do is a discussion which we can take back to the government.
The construction of the two big projects in the district was a government initiative to empower the people of Yumbe through the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda, DINO, with funding from the European Union through the United Nations Capital Development Fund. I'm Dominic Antonio Kumo for West Nile TV, NILECAST.
And with that, we have come to the end of the NILECAST Weekly News Roundup on West Nile Television.